Hello, everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Lydia here with your full moon reading for November 8th in North America, 2022. And we also have a full moon eclipse at the same time in Taurus, in the constellation of Taurus. So this is a pretty intense time period. If you haven't been feeling it already, the energies have been amping up like crazy. Usually with eclipses, you find the energies can be kind of crazy 6 months prior to and 6 months after the actually. Of course, the energies are more intense on the actual day, but 6 months prior and 6 months afterwards is usually the time period that the energies from the eclipse will be affecting us. So that's pretty much the entire year. So we definitely have we have this intense time of uncertainty, of I'd say probably almost feeling like we want to go into hibernation. That's kind of how it feels right now. So please bear with me. I'm just getting over a cold. So if I cough and whatnot, I will try and just pause it for a second so you don't have to hear me cough like a seal. Okay, so we're going to be going right into this. I have picked cards from the Sacred Forest Oracle card deck by Denise Lynn, as well as the Moonology Oracle card deck, and that's by Yasmin Boland. And basically, we're going to go right into this, and excuse me, and see where we're at. So the first card that we have here is Be Spirit, Be Spirit, Prosperity. Now, during a time like this, it is a kind of a make it or break it, where we could look at the negative sides of life, and we can focus on that, or we could focus on the positive sides of life. And this is saying that prosperity wise, excuse me, we have the capability of growing prosperity right now. And it's just a matter of knowing where we're coming from. Basically, look at your past and recognize the lessons you've learned, and how you can move forward in your life at this particular time in a more prosperous way. And prosperity doesn't necessarily mean that it's just wealth wise, but it will talk. It will focus on the wealth aspect of your life right now. You could be very prosperous in many different things, relationship wise, in love, in creativity, and understanding what to do with your hands, say, for example, or what it is that you would like creative projects, putting things together for creative projects. Let's see what Be Spirit has to say for ourselves, and go from there. In the meadow, the flowers are heady with their sweet scents. Bees flit from flower to flower, their droning sounding like the combined chants of 1,000 monks. As you watch, you can sense their focus on productivity and working in community. The result of their industry is golden amber honey. This card can be a wonderful sign that abundance and sweet energy is coming your way. It also can be a card of productivity and organization. So if you have been indecisive, disorganized, and unfocused, this card can mean that it's time to focus. Reprioritize your life. Have you been too busy with nothing to show for all of your work? Decide what is most important and take steps in those directions. To activate the prosperity you desire, this card also can signify that it's time to work hard. Be willing to put in the time and the energy, and your goals will be attained. Your efforts will pay off. Bees work together, so also consider whose energy aligns with yours and how you might collaborate to achieve your desires. By doing this, good fortune will ensue. Throughout history, bees and their productivity are admired because they bring us honey, which is associated with the sweetness of life, nourishment, and wealth. Honey is also associated with gold in many legends. The message Bee Spirit brings is that with diligent work, you will gain gold. The spirit of the bee says, excuse me, the sweet abundance of the universe is flowing into your life. However, you need to take action. and perhaps join with others to align with the frequency of your dreams. Believe that you deserve, and your goal will unfold. That's a wonderful way of looking at things at this particular time. So for many of us, I think at this time, we could be going into what we could call a holding pattern, especially with the energies going on right now, with things happening. It's chaotic energy around us, but this is a great time to be able to go within, to be able to not so much hibernate, but basically, because we have to take action in some sort, but basically taking some of the ideas that we've had or that we're going towards, looking towards in projects that we have on the go, and really delving into the meat and potatoes of figuring out what is like to organize it, and whether it's to organize it on paper or finding someone to collaborate with in order, and the right people to collaborate with in order to put it together. You may not see that the major action going on right now. You may not feel that the action should be done right now to get this project or get this relationship on the go. However, it could just mean that it has to gestate for a little bit. You might experience some delays as well. You might experience some delays in creativity, or basically in putting everything together, or excuse me, in finding the right people that can work with you on the project or what it is that you're doing. Now, if it's not a project and it's more so bringing in a relationship, then this is one of those times where you kind of just want to hold things where they are at the moment. Don't try to move things forward too much. Just basically be present in the relationship and enjoy where things are at this time. Excuse me. My coughing it's just been crazy. So sorry about that. So bee spirit they're very busy, right? So these animals are very busy. And what happens with this is that there's a busyness that could be going on behind the scenes. So the planning, the organizing, the placing things into perspective, but the action is maybe delayed to get the conclusion. And that's okay. You have to let it be okay, because of the fact that what comes out, excuse me, will be much better than you could even expect it to be. So that's something that's going on right now. And it kind of goes with the full moon, because we're completing a certain aspect of ourselves. Now let's go into the spiritual part of it. We're completing a specific time period for ourselves. A lot of us have actually been dealing with karma and karmic actions, karmic reviews of the past lives, and bringing them to the fore. And many of us have actually realized that we're kind of finishing up with some of these karmic experiences, and it could actually make us feel excuse me, that we're at a sense of loss. And that's because we've been with karma for a long period of time. As we start to peter off and deal with our stuff towards the end, it almost feels foreign, because we don't have as much to deal with. I mean, you're still going to deal with stuff, but it's just feeling like you're kind of neutral. You're holding a state, just put it that way. And this could be where I'm cautious to say bored, but it could feel excuse me, that you're at a state in your life that makes you think, well, what next? And that's where this is coming from. That's where the energy of this is coming from. They're saying that if you're in a holding pattern, then keeping busy with either a project that you have been thinking about, crafting. The time of year is for the holidays. You could be getting yourself busy into something. Just keeping yourself active in something that you really like to do. Excuse me, but also working with yourself spiritually. So meditating, maybe doing yoga on a very frequent basis, or whatever it is that you do that keeps you in contact with your guides, in communication with the divine, reading whatever it is that you do, so that you can move through this state with ease and at peace, and not feel anxious, because there are some people that may be feeling anxious at this time too. Excuse me. And it is a time um, of a foreign feeling, and you're going to notice that as well in the rest of the world. There's a time of foreign feeling. For, if I'm correct, we also have an election in the U.S. On November 8th as well. So, and there is the possibility of some upheaval and just some odd energies that could be happening. Some very disgruntled people, actually. I kind of sense that there'll be people who are not very happy about the situation there. And of course, anything that really happens to the States kind of also happens to the rest of the world. It reverberates in the rest of the world. So we're in a very iconic time period where there's a lot of things going on. And having said that, dis-ease of energy, we're going to feel that too. We're feeling the energy of what's going on around us. And that could make you anxious on the inside. However, what this is saying is, if you're able to hang in there and basically kind of ride the wave at this particular time, ride the wave of chaos, of craziness, of very upheaval type energy, it basically ends up in a very prosperous situation. And that's not only for the world, that's also for you individually. As individuals, we are prosperous individuals. We've always been. We're very powerful beings, just so you know, and just to remind you. But this is also saying that prosperity is going to follow after some of this just dies down a little. So let's go on to the next card. Foggy bog. Patience. Oh my goodness. I've actually had to say this to a number of people. It's like, have patience, and reminding myself, foggy bog, patience. Well, this is that time. This is that holding pattern where it's like, oh my gosh, do I have to wait for this? Oh, geez. So that's pattern. That's that patience. Sorry, that's patience that has to be exercised at this particular time too, more than any other time. I'd have to say, it's a very necessary quality that has to be looked at. So let's look at foggy bog. Patience. The fog in the forest is so dense you can't see your hands in front of your face. You take a step forward. The soil is soft and spongy. You realize that you're standing in a bog, and to go forward is to risk sinking deeper into the mud. The best strategy is to be still and wait for the fog to lift. Very symbolic. The message of this card is to be quiet and still. The time is not right to go forward now. It's hard to see what lies ahead, and the truth of things may not be as they initially appear. Events that seem one way may in fact become just completely different. Just as the egret exhibits great patience as it waits for the fish to emerge, so too must you be still and allow the truth to emerge. In this state of obscured visibility, your imagination can surge forward and spark your intuition. If you can't wait long enough, your sixth sense will be, if you can wait long enough, your sixth sense will be ignited. Listen to your inner yearnings and pay attention to those seemingly random thoughts. Water represents emotions, feelings, and the subconscious. When the water becomes condensed as fog, it obscures the true shape of things. We can't see clearly the way we can in the light. If we move forward, we risk getting caught in acidic, waterlogged soil and decaying plant matter. Heed the warning here to not allow unexamined emotions to overwhelm your growth. The spirit of the foggy bog says, have patience. Wait until the fog lifts before taking action. The truth will emerge in time. You just need to go deeper. Follow your intuition. Wonderful advice for right now is following your intuition. Now, the patience is also with yourself. This is a time to be kind to yourself as well. So this means a lot. It's got a lot of symbolism in saying, have patience with what's going on. Know that there will be emotions coming out. So you may feel emotional. You might end up feeling like you want to cry just in the middle of somewhere, like in the grocery store. And so just be patient with yourself, allow things to come out, allow these things to happen, because it is a necessary thing. It is, it's like it's letting go, which is allowing for bringing in the new. And that's exactly what the full moon is all about. With eclipses at the same time, that could fog things up a little bit as well, especially going into Taurus. The bull, um, if you think about what Taurus kind of represents, it is, excuse me, Taurus does represent impatience. So this is a reminder for this particular time period, because we're going to feel that impatience just overwhelming us right now. We want something done and we want it done now. And this is a human thing, but at the same time, it just feels overwhelming, especially with the eclipse energy. So just do as much as you can. Keep busy with yourself and doing some things that are more productive, walking, going for walks if you can, get out in nature. It's one of those things that you need to ground in some way, so that you're feeling that you're not uplifted by whether it's anxiety or elation, because you could be, this is very spiritual time as well. So the spiritual energies, the energies coming from the cosmos is very, very potent at this time as well. We've got gamma rays coming in from the sun, the great sun. And basically, as it comes into us, we are feeling it. The earth is feeling it. So it's also, and it's at a time too, so that if we're feeling it, all of our cells are feeling it. So it just means that we are at a particular time period of growth, of huge, huge spiritual growth. And it's also a time of upheaval, because change is never an easy thing. So just try to be as patient as you can with this. Note the anxieties that you have. If you're feeling anxious about something, get out and go for a walk, or go for a drive in a nice, very low key public place, because it's not public, it's like a park. So just getting out and finding yourself in nature somehow. So we're going to go into the very last card, which is in the Moonology deck, and that is the answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. So the other thing too about this is this particular time. Oh, I am really sorry about that. Okay, there you go. So the answers you need are coming. It's a time of, like the card prior to says the foggy bog, which is, when you think about the fog, things aren't as clear at this particular time. You may feel like there's something obscuring the clarity that you want to move forward. And for all intents and purposes, when you're overloaded with a lot of energies coming from the cosmos, you're going to need to catch up. Your body's going to need to catch up. Your mind is going to need to catch up. And at the same time, your mind is going to go like crazy, like the little hamster wheel going. So it's a very chaotic time. Excuse me. But at the same time, this is basically saying that guaranteed, if you have the patience to just let things be, and be kind to yourself, take in some self-care as well, analyze what needs to be done or reorganized, maybe even reorganize a closet to just keep yourself busy, then the answers that you want or that you need, and the conclusions to the projects that you're looking towards, will come. It just will take a little bit of time, because you are upgrading. As a human being, you are upgrading, and so is the world. The entire world is upgrading because the earth is upgrading. So be patient with this time, because there is really good energies that are going to come in after this. So let's look at the full moon in Gemini. This card is a reminder that it's important to speak your truth, but remember that your words have consequences and impact your listener. Right now, you need to guard against indiscretion. The answers you need may well come soon. The issue you're facing could well be one or a few conversations away from being resolved. If you're inquiring about a love situation, a little flirting may be called for. If you're in the middle of an argument, this card comes to you as a reminder of the old, very non-Gemini message, least said, soonest mended. It's good to talk, but be careful you aren't causing yourself any issues with your words. Words have enormous power. As metaphysician Florence Scovel Shinn, who was alive from 1871 to 1940, put it, your word is your wand. You create magic in your own reality every time you express yourself. Very true. Attuning to the moon, have an important conversation, but stay calm. That's again that anxiety or even anger that could come up and really play havoc with your words. Additional meanings for this card, don't be superficial. Someone could be trying to flirt with you. Have you noticed? You need to laugh off this situation and just move on. Or job applications have good prospects. So the teaching about this, talk, talk, and more talk as the emotional full moon moves into the communicative sign of Gemini. It's too easy to say too much. So mind how you go if you pull this card. This card can also indicate an enjoyable social event since the full moon in Gemini is a great time for socializing. This card also augurs well for any study you're either taking or considering. It's wonderful actually because of the fact that it does say that this is a good time for moving ahead. Look at what it's saying though, the study. So that means, again, it's not a complete action, but it is like action meaning physical action, but at the same time, it is an action according to the cosmos. It's according to the universe. It's an action towards something that you're wanting to do. So just being careful, it says, with your words. And this makes a lot of sense because, again, we're in a very impatient time period. We're at a time where we are upgrading. So if our mouth, goes like crazy, then, and you want to talk, it's because this time is perfect for conversation. Absolutely wonderful for conversation. Just making sure that it doesn't go into a heated mode just because your emotions may be running high at this time. As every time a full moon comes around, you'll notice that. You'll notice it when you're driving, that people are very impatient when they're driving. Things are very erratic. The fire and paramedics and police have noticed that it's the very active time for crimes and arson and so forth at this particular time at full moons and so forth. So, and it's even more amplified when it comes to eclipses. But it is a wonderful time for doing spiritual work. This is with the astrological aspects that are going on right now as well. We've got Mars in retrograde, which means it's a big thing. Thinking about how Mars is a male-oriented planet, excuse me, and it's also indicative of anger and well, I'd say hostile, but it's not really super hostile in that sense. It's just this very aggressive slash in your face kind of energy. And in the retrograde motion, it could just, you could see that happening in the world. There could be a lot of riots, which you've got riots or people in the streets, which you have in protests and lots of protests going on. I foresee that happening a little bit more actually during this time between now and March. There will be a shift in March as well, March 2023. This is something it's been seen by many people, but many channelers, and including myself intuitively, there is going to be a shift with that as well. But between now and then, the energies are high, shifting, changing constantly, and we will be in an up and down situation, feeling that emotionally and mentally and physically at some points as well. But ride the wave, please, just ride the wave. And when things kind of get a little bit crazy for yourself, take the time for self-care. Go out in nature, ground, give yourself that time to just come down off that wave and allow for a little bit of allow for the impatience. I mean, it's a guarantee you're going to be. So if you are, use it in something more productive. If you're impatient, go and organize your room or a different room of the home and just rearrange the furniture, shake up the energy a little bit so that it kind of gives you that, it's literally almost like a self-satisfying change within your environment so that you can kind of buffer the change that's going on the outside. So yeah, so that's what's going on right now, and I hope that this helps a little bit for people who are wondering what's what's happening in their life. So I hope that that you're able to enjoy this time period. Enjoy November 8th, the full moon, and if you're able to see the eclipse in the north northern hemisphere, it's basically early in the morning, like 5ish in the morning. So if you get up, watch the eclipse. It's going to last a little bit longer this time around, too. It's I don't know exactly how long, probably a couple hours, but it's definitely on the longer half. It's called the blood moon as well. So this is something. It's a very rare kind of time period, and also with the energies coming up just before the November 11th, which is the 1111 portal of energy that comes in. Um, it's very potent. So enjoy this time, take time for yourself, and just remember there is prosperity coming from at the very end of this holding pattern, and that good things and answers are coming to you. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks again, and bye for now.